Hi there, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us here at KREM 2 News at Noon. I'm Brandon T. Jones in for Laura Papetti today. Lots of headlines, so let's go ahead and check them out. Following a few things right now. The man accused of killing 2 people near Minnehaha Park made his first appearance in court Tuesday. Police say Brandon Kinney confessed to the murders, and court documents claim he helped one of the victims cover up a different death. Detectives say the 2 victims, Colton Russell and Kiera Morgan Whelan, were also suspects in the disappearance of 49-year-old Janelle Martinson. Martinson was reported missing earlier this month. Police found her body last Thursday in Valley Forge. According to court documents, Kinney said he helped Russell move Martinson's body and told investigators he decided to kill Russell days later when Russell said he was afraid Kinney would talk to the police about the missing woman. Court documents also claim Kinney said he needed to kill Morgan Whelan as well, since she was the only other person who knew about the situation. And after 4 weeks, the trial of Richard Aguirre is now over. He's accused of killing Ruby Doss back in 1986. The arguments throughout much of the trial centered around DNA evidence. Prosecutors say Aguirre's DNA was found on a condom decades after Doss's death, which links him to the crime. But Aguirre's defense team argued that the DNA is unreliable, saying officers contaminated the evidence by handling items without gloves. Prosecutors say there is no testimony to support that evidence was touched with bare hands. They also say DNA was not the only thing pointing to Aguirre's as Doss's killer.
Your Honor, the very same injuries that Mr. Aguirre described to Lawrence Cole are consistent with the exact injuries, or primarily consistent with the injuries that Dr. Veena Singh said led to Miss Doss's death.
They didn't put the partial profiles into CODIS. Had they done that, maybe we wouldn't be sitting here with Mr. Aguirre on trial for murder that he didn't commit.
As a reminder, this is a bench trial, meaning the judge will make the final ruling if Aguirre is guilty or not guilty. The judge is expected to issue that ruling in less than 1 week on December 26th. And we're going to get to more of those headlines later in the show. But first, let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Thomas Patrick, because Thomas, I know a lot of people are asking you about whether it's going to be a white Christmas. And I know you said earlier today that the chances are slim. But what I really want to know is if those chances are slim, do we have more chances of seeing some sunshine, my friend?
So there is actually a little bit of blue skies over my head right now, Brandon. So today is not all that bad of a day. I love the positive spin on it. If we're not going to have a white Christmas, are we at least going to get the warm temperatures? And the answer there is yes. Yeah, I look around me. The sun is trying to peek through the clouds behind me. It is still mostly cloudy, but there are bits of blue skies over my head. Not quite as much over some areas in North Idaho. Look at this. Coeur d'Alene, Hayden, Athol, Spirit Lake, Sandpoint. You are still seeing these pesky rain showers in the region. There's no storm system. It's just kind of the terrain disturbing the atmosphere and squeezing out what moisture there is still left over in it. So aside from that, most of us are just going to have this mostly cloudy day. Temperatures will still climb a couple degrees, and yes, if the sun peeks out from behind those clouds, might help us get well into the 40s. But I am expecting 42 in Spokane and near 50 degrees between Pullman and Lewiston for today. Not bad at all for the final day of fall. And these mild conditions do continue into next week. But I will say this, there is one chance of snow between now and Christmas. Might not be enough to give us a white Christmas, but I'll show you when that snow chance is likely to arrive in just a few moments.
Alrighty, thank you, Thomas. And looking ahead now, with Christmas less than a week away, schools will soon go on their winter break. Before that, local school districts want to remind students that resources will still be available if needed. Bite to Go is working with Second Harvest and at the core to send food home with students that are dealing with food insecurity. They send out roughly 300,000 food kits a year to schools in Eastern and Central Washington, as well as North Idaho. Distribution dates are Wednesdays for SPS elementary schools and every other Tuesday at middle and high schools. Today, a double distribution kit is scheduled.
And so what I really appreciate is that it really takes our whole community to care for our families, and being able to see our whole community wrap our arms around the children is very heartening.
When school isn't in session, families can also enter their zip code on the Second Harvest website to find nearby food pantries and meal sites. The SBS Heart program also did a gift card drive for students who are potentially facing homelessness. You can find more resources on the SBS website if you or any student you know is in need as the winter break approaches. The Idaho Department of Lands is giving public schools and state more than $61 million. They're also giving money to the Idaho School for the Deaf and Blind, University of Idaho, Lewis and Clark State College, and several other schools. And with the winter break also approaching, if you're flying out of Spokane International Airport for the holidays, be ready for record-breaking crowds. The airport says they think this travel season could be one of the busiest in history. More than 200,000 people are scheduled to arrive and depart between December 19th and January 2nd. That's an 11% increase over the last year. The Friday before Christmas, December 22nd, and the day after Christmas, Tuesday, December 26th, should be the busiest days. Elsewhere in transportation news, U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is reassuring travelers that airports are more prepared for the holiday travel rush this year. The Travel Association says an all-time record of 7.5 million people could fly. Buttigieg says his agency is working to make sure flights stay on schedule, but that weather can always cause delays.
We may see some bad weather impacting travel around Christmas and New Year's. FAA is working closely with airlines to plan for that possibility. So if you are concerned about weather affecting your travel plans, please remember to check directly with your airline for the most up-to-date information about your flight.
Buttigieg also announced some positive news for the last year of travel. So far, 2023 has seen the lowest number of flight cancellations in the last 5 years.